Happy late night, folks. This is your good brother, J News, with another rendition of J News Japan. It is currently September 25th, 1:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why am I saying this to you? I have had a long-ass day. I usually watch the shows in pairs, in such a way where I also review them in pairs. My plan was to get home earlier today, but that didn't happen because I had to cover a shift for a coworker at my place of employment, and I got home at around 7:30. Started watching these shows at 8 p.m. and here I am, 1:08 a.m. 5 hours later. 5 hours of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Nights 3 and 4, G1 Climax 30. I didn't figure for the earlier nights of the tournament to be as good as they have been. But night 3 so far, even though night 4 was really good, night 3 so far has set the tone for the rest of the tournament. So let's get right into it. This was live from Hokkaido Prefectural Sports Center. Sapporo Shi in Japan. Match number 1 on September 23rd. Young Lion Yuya Uemura went up against Young Lion Gabriel Kidd in a 7-minute and 21-second long match. It seems that the Young Lions have gotten the memo, and they are representing for them, not only for themselves but also for New Japan Pro Wrestling and the respective dojos that they are representing. These guys, these young guys, I guess they've gotten the pep talk, or they've been sit down by the veterans or their coaches or whoever have you, and they've been told, hey, don't just think it's the veterans who have to go out there and put on classics or high impact matches or strong style derived matches. Go out there and impress. Yeah, we keep you guys simple, but it doesn't necessarily mean you don't get to show off your abilities to tell stories in the ring, and we're not handcuffing you with your maneuvers as much anymore. I say all that to say this. Gabriel Kidd beat Yuya Uemura in this match with a double arm suplex. If these two guys were given longer period of time, and let's say they were also given a more not complex, but a more drawn out storyline and feud, this can be really good, because their match showed me the level of intensity, tenacity, ferocity, matched with their relative athleticism. Gabriel Kidd's veteranism, being that he's I believe an 8-year pro at this point at the age of 23, because they start early in the UK. And Yuya Uemura, just with his God-given gifts, his freaking dropkick is one of the prettiest dropkicks I've seen outside of Okada and AJ Styles in a very long time. And that's saying something. So Uemura's got a future. I always talk well about Gabe. But that 7 minutes and 21 seconds didn't leave anything on the table. Good for them. And I'll always talk up this crop of young lions. Hopefully soon we get to see the rest of the crop of the young lions mixed with the guys from New Japan Strong as well. Because this crop's going to take New Japan Pro Wrestling into the future. I don't have any doubt about that. Right into Block A action. We have Jeff Cobb, the one and only Mr. Athletic, versus Shingo Takagi, of Los Ingobernables de Japón. This match lasted about 12 minutes or so. A hefty back and forth. This match was more representative of what I thought that Jeff Cobb and Shingo Takagi should have brought to the table last year, but they brought it this year. And I'm glad that I was able to cement this particular match in my mind, because last year's G1, for whatever reason, is a blur. And right now I'm just trying to concentrate my best on this. Both of them looked amazing in this match. I was not expecting Jeff Cobb to win this match, but he did. He is now 1-1. He's got 2 points. Jeff Cobb won with the Tour of the Islands over Shingo Takagi. But Takagi didn't look bad in this match. No one had the upper hand at any point, I would like to say. Yet again, they brought about the point of Jeff Cobb having that knee injury prior to the G1 Climax tournament. There was a little bit of trepidation with the knee injury during the match, so that was woven into the story of the match as well. And I watched this particular show with English commentary, and it seemed that Shingo was being talked up throughout the rest of the match as a dark horse in the tournament. He's got 0 wins and 2 losses at this point with no points. Very surprising with the way he's been booked throughout the last calendar year. So we will see where this goes, as Jeff Cobb has now cemented 2 points on the leaderboard. Third match of the night, we had the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, versus Yujiro Takahashi, previously known as the Tokyo Pimp. This match lasted 12 minutes. Kazuchika Okada wins this match. Okada is now 1-1. He's got 2 points. Yujiro takes another loss with no wins, 0 points. I'll say this about this match: it didn't let me down, and I was actually not impressed, but I was motivated enough to sit through this match with Yujiro Takahashi in it. And he showed me a few things here and there in this particular match with Okada. Not any of the previous matches he's had with Okada. So this was a solid match all the way through. But Okada with the win here in match number 3. Match number 4, one of the matches I was looking forward to here in night 3. We had Minoru Suzuki of Suzuki-gun versus Tai Chi of Suzuki-gun. It was mentioned during the broadcast that Hokkaido is Tai Chi's hometown, and that last year in the G1 tournament, he got a win over Naito in his hometown of Hokkaido, and they repeated the same thing here. Tai Chi got the win in this 12-minute match against Minoru Suzuki. When I tell you that this was a fight, and I mean a fight, when the bell rung, Suzuki struck Tai Chi right in the frickin' mouth. He did not let up at all. It was an all-out fight. It was a brawl in the outside the majority of the time. Heavy striking, heavy open hand smacks. Tai Chi kicking the crap out of Suzuki's chest. During the last leg of the match, I would say the last couple of minutes, I would say the last sequence of the match, Suzuki was always trying to go for the rear naked choke into the GSP, and Tai Chi always had a answer for it. He always had a reversal for it. And the last time that Minoru Suzuki went for the rear naked choke into the GSP, Tai Chi hit Minoru Suzuki with Black Mephisto out of nowhere, and he got the 3 count. This was a very back and forth match. I would say Suzuki dominated about the first 5 or so minutes, 5 or 6 or so, probably half of the match. And then Tai Chi was working his way back. And then the back and forth sequence within the last minute or 2 of the match, which led to Tai Chi's win. They hit each other with chairs. They threw each other into the guardrails. Man, this is what I wanted to see. This is what I expected to see. And they didn't disappoint, man. Big ups to the members of Suzuki-gun for this match. Taichi goes on. He's got 2 wins and 4 points. Minoru Suzuki is now 1-1 with 2 points on the leaderboard. A 5th match of the night. My other favorite match of the night. Look, I understand what they're doing with Will Ospreay's character. He is now overly confident. He is overly cocky. He is full of himself, thinking that he is the best wrestler in the world, not just the New Japan roster, but in the world. And this match with Ishii basically showed you that this young man, Will Ospreay, can hang with anyone, man. His style is so unique, but it doesn't take away from anyone else in the match when done correctly. Tomohiro Ishii no-sold damn near everything Will Ospreay had to hit him with. At one point, I feel like Will had hit Tomohiro Ishii with a couple of those elbow forearm hits to the collarbone, and you heard the loudness, the impact of it. And Ishii just no-sold the crap out of those, man. And I was like, how, dude? Just how? But there were other points where Will Ospreay hit him with those forearms and hit him with the hook kicks and stuff like that, and he folded Ishii. But Ishii gave it right back to Will Ospreay, man. All those suplexes and throws and the combo forearm hits and things of that nature, a bunch of lariats that Ishii threw Will Ospreay's way. Will did not fly too often in this match. It was more of a strike-based match. A lot of chops, a lot of kicks, a lot of punches, a lot of forearms, a lot of elbows, things of that nature. So Will is able to wrestle that strong style way of New Japan. The match lasted about 18 minutes. Will Ospreay wins this match over Tomohiro Ishii. That means Will has 2 wins, no losses, 4 points. Tomohiro Ishii also walks away with 0 wins, 2 losses, and no points, as Will Ospreay hit the Stormbreaker on Ishii to get the win. The last match of the night, man, like I said, night 3 has set the tone. Kota Ibushi, Jay White. The match started off real slow. I'll say that. The first, I would say 3, 4, 5 minutes of the match, I was like, when's the pace going to pick up? When's the story going to get developed? Who's going to do what? What's going to be the jukes in this match? The jukes. How am I going to get hooked in to this match? And they were able to do it because Ibushi took out that attitude. Ibushi took out that no-sell attitude, and whatever Jay White was throwing his way wasn't phasing Ibushi for a good part of the match. But Jay White was able to get his licks in. Jay White was able to have some effect on Ibushi. And at the end of it all, Jay White did come away with the win. Some slight interference with Gato, where Gato popped up on the apron. Ibushi kicked Gato off the apron. Jay White went for the roll-up and Ibushi got out of the roll-up. I'm missing a part here. I think that Ibushi got hit with a low blow at one point, or he blocked a low blow. He blocked the low blow at one point, and when Ibushi tried to go for Kamigoye to end the match after he hit the Bumaye. Big ups to Shinsuke Nakamura for being one of his mentors. He missed the Kamigoye. Jay White was able to reverse it and turn it into the Blade Runner. And after 20 minutes and 28 seconds, you have 2 wins on the column for Jay White with 4 points. And now Kota Ibushi is 1-1 with 2 points on the leaderboard. That was night number 3. Best night of the tournament so far, in my opinion. September 24th, earlier yesterday, we had another match here with the Young Lions, Yota Tsuji and Yuya Uemura. Another great way to start this night. These two guys, like I said before, I think they're better suited as a tag team, but they also know how to put on good singles matches against each other. Yota Tsuji showing that fire. Yuya Uemura showing his technical ability, his ability to be able to get out of maneuvers in reverse, and just foundational and highly highly fundamental wrestling was more or less the crux of this match. Yota Tsuji came away with the win this time around. I guess they're trying to one up each other. I don't know how many matches they're gonna have, but so far I'm counting this as their 1-1. So we got to see what happens with the rubber match. But Yota Tsuji came away with the win. Second match, Block B tournament. I'm not worried yet, y'all. I'm not worried yet. So we had Hiroki Goto of Chaos versus my main man, my favorite, Sanada of Los Ingobernables de Japón. This match went 11 minutes of Sanada's swiftness, fluidity in the ring, Hiroki Goto's high impact and throwing ability, I would like to say as well, what was highly shown off in this match. Very back and forth. There was no, I would say, no one had the upper hand or the advantage at any real point in the match. When I saw Sanada hit the skull end put the skull end on Goto at one point in the match, I was like, man, Sanada's been winning with the skull end for months on end. Throw away last week's match, the other day's match with Toriyano because of the comedy aspect of it. I felt like Sanada should have won there, but whatever. Goto got to the ropes and stuff, and he got the break. And then I think the last sequence of the match is really what made it. When Sanada tried to go for the skull end again, and Goto was able to not only hit the GT, he didn't hit the GTS, he hit the GTW, and eventually hit the GTR for the win. But slight mention here, Sanada hit a Yuji Giroshi during the match, which Goto did as well, and it was the first time I had seen Sanada hit a Yuji Giroshi during a match, and it was cool to see. In my eyes, obviously you guys watched me or listened to me long enough to know that Sanada can do no wrong, but he looked good. Hiroki Goto, every G1 Climax he's in, always comes to the freaking party with his best dressed tux on. You know what I'm saying? To use a metaphor in that sense, and this was not lacking in that particular metaphor here. Hiroki Goto won with GTR. He's now 1-1 with 2 points, and Sanada 0 wins, 2 losses, 0 points. They did talk up. Well, no, this was the show I watched in Japanese, but I'm sure that they talked up the fact that Sanada can still come back and win this tournament. I know Kevin Kelly and Rocky Romero in the Block A night, they spoke about how last year's tournament, Kota Ibushi started 0-2, and he ended up being the G1 Climax champion. So we'll be paying close attention to that. For the comedy match of the night, I didn't expect this at all. Toriyano versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace. Toriyano didn't go out of his way to do his over-the-top comedy in this match. He actually wrestled a bit more than his regular comedy shtick, because I guess it's Tana. It was 7 minutes 15 seconds. Toriyano got the win here. Toriyano now has 2 wins, 0 losses, 4 points. Hiroshi Tanahashi now has 0 wins, 2 losses, and no points. At one point, Tanahashi wrapped Toriyano's eyes shut with that medical tape that Toriyano likes to carry around with him. They battled all the way up the aisleway at one point, where both of them had to basically sprint all the way back to the ring so that they can both beat the 20 count. That was a funny spot during the match. Toriyano did his usual turnbuckle shtick and things of that nature. But when he handed off the turnbuckle to Tanahashi grabbed the turnbuckle, looked at it, stared at the crowd, got down on one knee, and rocked the air guitar on the turnbuckle. So that was cool to see as well in that match. Always a good breath of fresh air with the levity that they lend with their style of comedic wrestling in New Japan Pro. Fourth match of the night, B block, Juice Robinson versus Kenta. Ladies and gentlemen, True Heel Nation, I have never given Juice Robinson much props. Not to say that he's a bad wrestler, not to say that Juice doesn't deserve to be in the business. Obviously he does. But this match right here versus Kenta, I feel was where Juice was able to show out the most, show that fighting spirit, show that he can hang with the big boys and the main eventers. And at the end of the day, Juice wins this match. He won the match. He is now 2 wins to 0 losses and 4 points. 17-minute long match versus Kenta, who is now 1-1 with 2 points. Juice Robinson hit the Pulp Fiction on Kenta. Kenta is the current holder of the contract certificate for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship title match against Jon Moxley in the future. Being that Juice did beat Kenta here, I would believe that Juice will have a shot at that certificate sometime down the road. I would say that Kenta in this match had the overall advantage from more a little bit than half the match, and Juice was fighting his way back through the majority of the rest of the match, and his comeback was really, really good. And I found that his win here was a surprise, and it was an upset. The same thing with Toriyano over Hiroshi Tanahashi at the same time. So we gotta look forward to that in the B block to see as to how far Juice goes and how far Toriyano's gonna go. Fifth match of the night, we had my favorite match of this night, Yoshi-Hashi and Evil. Folks, I've never ever said in any J News Japan review that any of my favorite matches of any night was any match that included Yoshi-Hashi. And folks, when I tell you that Yoshi-Hashi's emotion, his fighting spirit, and his wrestling acumen shined through in this match versus Evil. And unfortunately, this is our term. This is something that has been cemented on True Heel Heat here on J News Japan and the True Heel Heat podcast. Unfortunately, Yoshi-Hashi was not able to overcome Evil Dick. At the end of the day, it was a tremendous 17 minutes and 21 seconds between Evil and Yoshi-Hashi. It was back and forth, interference from Dick Togo, obviously. Low blowed at the end of it, Yoshi-Hashi was, and then Evil hit Everything is Evil for the win. Yoshi-Hashi run out the gamut, man. He threw out every move, Swanton bombing it. He hit that finishing submission that he does is more or less like a butterfly submission that he has, that he puts his opponent in a seated position. He didn't hit his rolling blockbuster unless I missed it by glancing away from the TV for a minute, for like a second or so. But I didn't see him hit the rolling blockbuster for like the first time in a long time. But Yoshi-Hashi looked terrific in this match. Evil looked good, but yet again, ref bumps and low blows and Dick Togo interference. It was an overly booked match in that sense, but I think for them to have some good faith in Yoshi-Hashi in the semi main event for the night was dope, and it was cool, and I appreciated that, and I appreciated seeing that. Evil comes away with the win. 1-1, 2 points for Evil, 0 wins, 2 losses, 0 points for Yoshi-Hashi. as they go on to their third match coming up in another couple of days. 6th match of the night. Folks, I'm not going to say that this match was a bad match. It was an excellent match. This match between Tetsuya Naito, the leader, El Ingobernable, the Japón himself, Tranquilo, versus Zack Sabre Jr. Folks, this was a marathon, not a sprint. You had to sit there and watch this match from beginning to end because it was a reversal mat wrestling fest for the majority of the match. And Zack Sabre Jr. and Tetsuya Naito took us to school, and that's what they did. And it was dope. There was no interference from anybody from Suzuki-gun. Red Shoes didn't take any sort of bumps in this match, so that was cool to see. It was a clean match, nonetheless. Here we had just damn near half an hour, 28 minutes, 28 seconds of pure and unadulterated professional wrestling as a sport was showcased in this match, and it was excellent. It was excellent. I have nothing bad to say about this match. Nothing bad to say about Zack Sabre Jr. here. Never anything bad to say about Tetsuya Naito. Tetsuya Naito now goes into this. He's got 2 wins, no losses, 4 points. And Zack Sabre Jr. has 1 win, 1 loss, 2 points. Tetsuya Naito won this match by hitting, I think it was his 3rd Destino in this match to put away Zack Sabre Jr. But they had like a submission fest through a good portion of the match, and it was cool to see Naito in a very different element in style of wrestling, to say the least. And it impressed me, and it was cool. So I really, really like that. So going forward, we have the other nights, which will be taking place. Next up will be Night 5 on September 27th, which will be taking place at Hyogo at Kobe World Hall. Then Tuesday, September 29th, they'll be live from Tokyo and Kurikan Hall. And Wednesday, September 30th, they'll be live at Tokyo from Kurikan Hall as well. I don't know how I'm going to pair these. I'm just speaking out loud, kind of just thinking out loud. You guys can comment down below if you'd like, or whatever the case is. I'm going to do the Sunday show on its own. There's, I believe, how many days in September? There's 30 days in September. So there's 3 running shows, back to back days. So there's 4. So yeah, there's 3 running shows: the 29th, the 30th, and the 1st of October. But 2 are in Kurikan Hall, and 1 is in Niigata, which is the October 1st show. So I'm gonna do the September 27th show solo. I'm gonna pair the 29th and the 30th shows, even though I think that the G1 Climax 30 show and the 27th is going to be A. It's going to be block A. It's going to be A block. 29th should be B block. And then the 30th should be back to A block. And the 1st should be back to B block. So I don't know. I'll figure this out. I might just pair the 27th and the 29th and then pair the 30th and the 1st. Just so that everything will be even on that end. And I'm not doing too many videos. And hogging up your guys' timelines. But anyways, to see as to what's going to be the preview for the rest of the week. Let's see. Night 5 preview. We've got Night 5 in Kobe. We have Tai Chi versus Yujiro Takahashi. We've got Jeff Cobb versus Minoru Suzuki. We've got Kota Ibushi versus Tomohiro Ishii. We've got Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay in that rematch from Boss J last year, and we have Kazuchika Okada versus Jay White for the main event on September 27th in Kobe. that is A Block Action. So folks, as I usually tell you, make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. Keep doing your best. Stay safe out there. Take care of one another. Be good to one another. And stay wrestling fan, folks. Quick side note. Sad side note. Yesterday, or 2 days ago at this point, September 23rd, 2020, WWE Hall of Famer and former all-around badass man, Joe Laurinaitis, a.k.a. Animal, one half of the Road Warriors, a.k.a. the Legion of Doom, passed away due to what they are saying are natural causes. He was only 60 years old. I know that one of his sons ended up playing in the NFL. It was sad. I remember back in 2003 when we heard that Hawk passed away all of a sudden. And even at 60 years old, I think that Animal passing at this point in time, he was still pretty young. He was still a pretty young guy. Had a lot to. He always gave back to the business. Guys always spoke highly about him and how much of a great guy he was. And he'll definitely be missed. I know that for me, growing up in the late 80s and early 90s, the Road Warriors, aka the Legion of Doom, were the show when it came to tag team wrestling. It was either them or the Steiner brothers for me. Me speaking personally, and I just wanted to put that out there, folks. I don't like to leave anyone on somber notes and stuff like that. I usually like to leave positive stuff out there, but had to remember him, had to mention it just because I grew up on the guy and his work. And I also watched that Dark Side of the Ring episode of that he had a hand in for season 2. If you haven't watched it, catch that on Vice on demand. Dark Side of the Ring, seasons 1 and 2. There was a Road Warrior episode that came on in season 2 that Animal had a big part in. So I'll leave that in closing with y'all. As always, folks, you know what it is. Keep watching. Stay tuned. I'll figure out how to pair the shows going on later. For now, I'm about this. It's been your boy Jay News, the good brother. Peace.